Court documents, Altman holds $2 billion in OpenAI partner stakes. Court documents disclosed this week show OpenAI chief executive Sam Altman holds more than $2 billion in equity across companies that have done business with OpenAI, according to a Cointelegraph report citing the filings. The disclosure puts a hard number on a web of investments that watchers of the AI industry have long suspected was substantial but rarely quantified. The filings were highlighted in a Cointelegraph post on May 14, 2026. The figure covers stakes in startups and infrastructure firms that have transacted with OpenAI in some form, from chip and compute suppliers to product partners. The court record does not appear to allege wrongdoing by itself, but it sharpens an existing governance debate inside and outside the company. A related party map worth more than most public AI companies. The $2 billion figure is striking because of where it sits. It is larger than the market capitalization of several publicly traded AI infrastructure names and approaches the headline valuations of mid-tier crypto exchanges. It is held by an executive who runs the entity counterparties are doing business with, which is the textbook definition of a related party concentration. OpenAI has acknowledged Altman's personal investment activity before. The company's restructuring plans, board reorganization after late 2023, and ongoing transition toward a more conventional corporate structure have all touched on the question of how to fence off conflicts. The court documents move that conversation from theoretical to numerical. For practical purposes, three categories of relationships sit inside that $2 billion: compute and silicon partners that supply OpenAI infrastructure application layer startups that build on OpenAI's APIs or models. Adjacent platform companies in payments, identity, biometrics, and energy that have inked deals with OpenAI affiliates. The crypto adjacency, WorldCoin, and the identity stack. Altman is also a co-founder of Tools for Humanity, the company behind WorldCoin and its WLD token. WorldCoin sits at the intersection of AI and crypto. It issues a biometric proof of personhood credential aimed at distinguishing humans from AI agents, with payouts denominated in WLD. Anything that affects Altman's standing as the public face of OpenAI also affects the credibility narrative around WorldCoin's identity product. WLD trades far below its peak and has been sensitive to news cycles that touch its founder. A court-documented disclosure of $2 billion in OpenAI partner stakes is unlikely to alter WorldCoin's technical roadmap, but it adds another item to the list of questions institutional allocators ask before sizing a position in the token. The broader crypto and AI thesis is also at stake. A lot of capital in 2025 and 2026 has flowed into AIX crypto infrastructure on the assumption that decentralized rails will eventually settle agent-to-agent payments and machine-readable contracts. That thesis depends in part on OpenAI remaining the dominant gravitational center of commercial AI. If governance scrutiny intensifies, the timing of any commercial integration with crypto rails slows down with it. Markets did not react. The disclosure landed in a soft tape. Bitcoin traded near $79,406 in the 24 hours after the news, down 2.1% over the prior day. Ether changed hands near 2,050 cents, down 2.0%. Solana fell harder, off roughly 5.1% at 90.53. The coin market cap fear and greed reading sat at 46, in neutral territory. Numbers cited are as of May 14, 2026. None of those moves trace cleanly to Altman or OpenAI. The macro setup is dominated by a softer dollar narrative, a hawkish-leaning rates path, and a sell-off in higher beta L1 tokens that began earlier in the week. The Altman filing is a governance story rather than a market catalyst, and the price action reflects that. The questions that follow three things are worth tracking from here. The first is whether OpenAI's board or its restructuring council comments on the filings directly. The second is whether large enterprise customers, several of which run procurement reviews that scrutinize counterparty governance, raise the issue in renewal conversations. The third is whether crypto-adjacent OpenAI partners, WorldCoin included, see any divergence in token holder sentiment or partnership velocity. A $2 billion related party map is not a scandal by itself. It is, however, a data point that institutional allocators, regulators, and journalists now have on the record. The market did not move on it today. Whether it shapes the next round of governance commitments out of OpenAI is the open question.